Hi there. Thank you for joining us for Hobbies, Crafts, and Collectibles this week. I'm your host, Duska Cornwell. We are going to have so much fun talking with 10-year-old Parker Daugherty of Leroy, Illinois today. He has an amazing rubber duck collection. You won't believe how many he brought with him. We're also going to be talking with Gary Fuller of Kansas, Illinois. He has a great hobby, living history. Stay tuned and we'll tell you all about it. Joining me in the studio today is Parker Daugherty from Bloomington, Illinois. We are excited to have him and his cool collection of rubber ducks. Parker, thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
This has taken me back to my kid days. It's a few years ago. We won't talk about that, but I love rubber ducks, and I had no idea there were so many different types of rubber ducks.
Yeah, this isn't even close to the amount that other people could have.
Really?
Yes.
How many do you think you have right now?
Well, we counted a few days ago, and it's 191 to be exact.
191 rubber ducks. That is awesome. Do you know what the world record is for who has the most?
Over 2,000, and it's Charlotte Lee.
Are you aspiring to get there? Do you want to beat her record?
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, what can you tell me about rubber ducks in general? Like, how long have rubber ducks been around?
Well, they started after the Civil War, but they really didn't become popular until after World War II when Sears put them in one of their catalogs, so.
I see. Now, they call them rubber duckies. Are they rubber or are they?
No, they're just sort of like a flimsy plastic. See, this is one of the ones that you can really tell with.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's shiny. Reese's. Yeah. My husband would like him. He loves Reese's cups. So what I love about rubber duckies too is that a lot of them squeak.
Yeah.
Now, do they have different squeaks or are they all pretty much the same?
They're all sort of in the general area of the same, but they're not all exactly the same.
Gotcha. So I know something must have happened to start your collection. Where did you get your first rubber duck?
Well, this is my first rubber duck, and it's very, very special because my grandpa was in the Navy, and he gave it to me when I was like 3 or 4 months old, so.
Oh, so when you were just a baby, started you early, huh? Oh, I love him. He is great. I can see why you kind of fell in love with him after that. So show me a little variety, because I'm sure there are a lot of people just like me out there who never even knew these existed. I just have to say offhand, who knew there was a nativity set of rubber ducks? We got baby Jesus here in the middle, well, kind of.
Ducky Jesus.
Yeah, Ducky Jesus. We even have a duck lamb.
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorites? Point out some of the ones that you were just really thought were fun to get.
Well, these were really fun to get, these nurse and doctor ducks, because I got them at a career center for my sister because she really loves the culinary arts, and she was thinking about getting a job in that sort of genre, so.
Oh, I see. So how many 10-year-olds do you know who use the word genre? I love that, Parker. You're already one of my favorites. So this is a nurse, and they were just a nurse and a doctor. They were giving these away at the career fair?
At the career fair.
I see. Very fun. And what else? We got patriotic duck. This is one of my favorites because this is from a local business, but it's got a great color to it.
Yeah.
They're not all yellow, are they?
No.
And then this one is really interesting to me. What is this?
It's a watering can. I actually got it at a local store, a knee pagan store.
Oh, very fun. Now, it's a watering can for the garden.
Yeah.
Then, huh? Okay. Is this the largest one you have, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They just go down from here. What's one of the smallest ones you have?
Probably one of the smallest would be either this or this. One of those two.
Oh, cool. Now, this one's popping his head out of a pumpkin, and this one's got snowflakes on it. And that's kind of fun because for every season I can see that you probably take these out and display them every time a season comes along. So we've got your winter, we got Christmas here, we've got your fall, we even have a mummy duck.
Yeah.
Love him. And we even have Easter. Now tell me about the painted ones down here in front. We've got 3 little animals. Where'd you get those?
My great aunt gave them to me, actually.
Oh, very nice. So you probably have people all over looking for ducks. And every birthday, every Christmas, do you usually get a duck?
No, not really. It's just like everywhere we go, because here is one from Hawaii, and here is another from Arizona, And then over there, right
This
there.
one?
Yeah, that was my first one from Chicago.
from
I have
Chicago.
a ton more.
Oh, I like this one. He's wearing a tie.
Yeah.
Very nice. So from all over the world. Now I know behind us, I was so excited to see, we're talking great display here, the shower curtain. Now, is that actually from your bathroom?
No, I actually used it for one of my Halloween costumes last year. My dad wanted to try to recreate the Karate Kid. I don't know how he could run in that. I personally don't. It is heavy.
So you were recreating a scene from Karate Kid, but with your shower curtain. I love that. That is great. Yeah. And then we'll just let the camera zoom in on the display in the back here. Tell us what was going on when that display was made.
That was for one of, well, it was for the only local museum in Leroy, and they were doing some sort of duck reopening theme, so they asked me to display mine, and I got put in the paper.
Very cool. I love that. Now, what's your favorite song? I got to ask because there's a really famous rubber ducky song. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering if do you ever sing that, Ernie's? Since we're on PBS, we can talk about the rubber ducky song. Yeah, that's a great one. I have that on CD at home. Can you believe it?
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Now, show me back here. We got some that have, what's this little guy? He looks like he's surrounded
Oh,
by...
yeah, he's a soap bar that one of my mom's coworkers gave to me. He's like a lifeguard trapped inside a soap bar.
That is awesome, but of course you don't want to use that, huh? Now, tell me the truth. When you take a bath, are there rubber ducks involved, Parker?
No, I don't really take baths.
Okay, fair enough. But what do your friends think of your collection?
Most of them think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, very nice. And do you have a special place you display all of these? Or?
No, not really. Just my house whenever the season or holiday comes along.
Oh, okay. So you basically keep them in like a bin, and then as holidays come, then you kind of get them out to display. I see. Now, have you seen any with the internet? I imagine there's probably websites and there's probably some really neat pages devoted to rubber ducks. Have you seen any online that you think, oh, I would love to have that one?
No, not really. I really
really?
haven't looked online.
You're not partial, are you? You just love them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, have you learned anything about rubber ducks that you think would be great for our audience to know, since a lot of us don't really know a lot about them?
Not much more than the history I just conveyed a few.
Right, the history of it.
Yeah.
Where did you get this one?
Oh, I got it.
And this one might go home with me.
I got that in New Orleans and this one too because my dad and my sister, well, one of my sisters went on a mission trip with our church. So.
Gotcha. I love that. This is you got your. It's not your basic Mardi Gras necklace for sure.
No.
I really like this one. So what are some others that you can show me? We haven't talked about. We have like all the sports represented. Let's show some of those to our audience because we have a lot of sports fans here in the Midwest.
Soccer one.
We've got soccer. Very nice.
And here's one for Illini basketball.
Basketball.
And then here's the football one.
All right.
And
now, are you an Illini fan?
yeah.
Okay.
And a Chicago basketball one.
Are you a
I'm
Chicago
totally
fan?
crowding you with ducks.
Crowding me with ducks. I can think of worse things to be
And
crowded
then
with.
here's a cheerleader.
The cheerleaders are representing. There you go.
And then there's a.
Oh, which one? Oh, this
one.
guy.
Yeah,
I
it's
can see the sports.
Yeah.
So you're a
for the
Chicago
Cubs.
fan too, huh? Now, what happens if you find a cardinal duck? Are you going to buy it or?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
We'll just have to cross that bridge when we come
Yeah.
to it. I understand. Now, what about these guys down here? Here, I'm going to put these over here.
Okay.
That's the great thing about this collection. I can't break it. People sometimes bring to the show these really breakable crystal and things like that. These I can just, toss around. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Now, what about these four guys? These look a little familiar to me.
I got these from my sister because she did this chrysalis thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard of that.
And it was like supposed to be like ninjas for God.
Oh, okay. So the theme was ninjas, and these were. I like that. So they're not necessarily the Teenage Mutant Ninja.
No.
But they're ninjas. Very fun. And you also have ornaments and stuff. We were talking about decorating for Christmas with the nativity.
Yeah. And then
Lots
the two
more
duck
involved here.
ornaments.
And these aren't rubber. I won't be squeezing
No.
this. But how cute. We've got a couple of Christmas ornaments here that are made out of glass. Very nice. And one of my favorites I saw when you were getting it out. I love this one. The gingerbread duck. Oh, that's crazy. Now, have you seen any that are kind of like really unique themes that, you know, that maybe you don't have, or?
No, not really.
Not too many. And probably locally, I haven't really seen, maybe that's why I'm not familiar with them, because like in local stores, I don't really see themed ones. They're probably more like souvenirs from traveling or specialty shops and things like that. You even have a wedding pair. Now, this will be interesting, Parker. I know maybe girls aren't great right now, but one day you got to fall in love with a girl who likes your duck collection. That would be important. You just got to be upfront about it. And maybe she'll even put these on top of the wedding cake. What do you think?
Oh, that would be so adorable.
Oh, he's thinking that's got to be on the application, right? For someday for your girlfriend. But I love these two. These are so fun. And who is that guy on the end? Is he like a pilot or the other guy over there?
Which one?
Oh, sorry.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, that is the other hippie duck. There are two of them. There's a pair.
Hippie ducks. I didn't see these. These are cute. So we have your girl and your guy hippie ducks too. So the sky's the limit, isn't it? Pirate ducks, angel ducks. We got animal ducks. We got ducks. You ever heard that phrase, getting all your ducks in a row?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got all his ducks in a row. You really do. And for a 10-year-old, you are just very poised and very fun. And I'm so thankful that you brought this incredible collection for us to see. And I want to keep in contact. I want to hear as your collection grows, okay? I want to hear about it and see some of the pictures of it. And maybe we'll have you on again someday and you can show us.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, the new ones that you got. All right. All right. Well, thank you, Parker, for coming all the way from Bloomington and sharing this great collection with us.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. It's my privilege to welcome to the studio today Gary Fuller of Kansas, Illinois. Gary, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on the set.
It's kind of fun talking to Gary beforehand because Gary, he's an artist, he's a hobbyist, I'd say even a collector. He kind of runs the gamut, and I want to cover as much as I can because you have so many fascinating things here, from art to certainly your hobby, which is living history. So first of all, I want to cover some of the things you do. I know that you're a woodworker.
I do woodwork.
He's a welder.
I am a welder. I'm a journeyman welder.
And you're even a toy maker.
Well, I guess that was just fun to play with there. That's the scrap wood that the students left around the shop, and Jeff said, Professor Beauchart said, toy show coming up. I said, okay, I'll try to make something. So
awesome.
That is Zeb. That is Fishing with Zeb, and it went to the International Toy Show down in Little Rock, Arkansas.
That's what I love about your things. Don't hang around very often. There were some things you couldn't bring because people have purchased them or they're being used in living history, and so we're lucky to have the pieces that we do have today. This is made out of what kind of wood? It looks like
it's it's a very expensive plywood. The plywood comes with a paper on it. I'd never seen it before until I got over here to the Doudna.
I see.
And the kids, that's scrap wood that the kids didn't use for their projects. So.
Oh, I see. And then it's been clamped together like silver sheets. It's not one big sheet, right?
Right. It was I cut pieces out, say whatever the length of the cat is, right there. Clamped them together, glued them, and then proceeded to carve him out.
Okay, now this one is a two-piecer. So the cat, you were telling me beforehand, the cat actually is going to reel in the catfish.
Right.
And there's a magnet.
That's what they call an earth magnet. It's very strong.
Very strong, and it actually, if we weren't on this table, it would actually pull, and it would pull in the catfish.
Pull in the catfish. Yes.
That's a great
The
toy.
cat's tail is the handle, and then he has a crank on his hip.
Oh, I love that. And that's just a small example of your woodworking. Now, I know as far as welding, you're actually responsible for welding together some of the sculptures here on EIU's campus.
I am retired Dean Jim Johnson and Professor Beauchart have pieces out in front of the Tarple Arts Center and the Doudna, and I've welded most of those pieces up for them, and they have 2 more projects coming up real shortly.
Wow, that is fun. Now, another thing I didn't mention, this is an art. Absolutely. This, you told me, is based on New Zealand culture. Would you explain a couple of your masks here for us that you've made?
The masks are modeled after Maori warriors. Their faces were tattooed, chiseled, and now in modern day they use a gun. These guys, there was lines put on their face, and then it was tapped. The ink was tapped into the tissue, and a lot of the elders, the chiefs of the tribes, had never seen their faces in a mirror or anything like that. But they could, by the way that was done on their face, they could sign treaties. And how they signed treaties was they would take an ink, they would draw their face on a treaty.
Oh, wow.
So, and each individual's different face, and they have all the symbols on them are different meanings and stuff. So
now, are these done just sculpture-wise with clay, or how did you make them?
I actually took a foam head and put Vaseline on it so the clay wouldn't stick to it, and then made it over a foam head, and then did this stuff on it, added the pieces onto it. So you started off with a sheet and then cut it out, and then did it that way, I guess.
Gotcha. Oh, it's so interesting. Very imaginative. Now, what I love about your art is that you found a hobby that you can kind of use your artistic abilities to enhance. Explain, first of all, what is living history?
A living history is a recreation of history, past history of United States history. The French and Indian War time period is what I'm involved with mostly, although we do pre-contact of the whites being here, also all the way up into the Black Hawk Wars of 1832.
What got you interested in that?
A couple of guys that run around here, Dave Baumgartner and Brian Sadoff. I was into history a little bit anyway, and they asked me if I wanted to go to a history event with them down at Fort Massac, which is in southern Illinois. And I proceeded to go down. They got me dressed up in period clothing. We went out on what they call a woods walk, so it's woodland skills that we actually had to set a bear trap, a huge bear trap, and we won the woods walk that day. And then that night, about 3 o'clock in the morning, I was up tending a fire. It was cold. It was in the middle of February. We actually broke ice out on the Ohio River.
Oh, wow.
And we had a 4.3 Richter earthquake that night.
Oh, my goodness.
And I said, I'm hooked. I'm here. I'm done.
It was an adventure then,
it
wasn't it?
It was.
Wow.
And from then on, I got involved with some really, really good reenactors. These guys are, we've been on the History Channel. We've got to go to France. We've been to Canada, all the French and Indian War and the Revolutionary War forts on this side of the Mississippi River. And so we've had a ball.
Oh, I bet. What an awesome thing for a history buff.
It is. And the thing of it is you don't have to have the heritage. I portray a Kaskaskia Indian.
I can't wait to show this picture.
And the Kaskaskia are basically extinct. They were killed off either by smallpox or something like that, or they were married. They married themselves out of existence with mostly French and stuff. If you go down to around the St. Louis area, there's a French fort down there called Deschartres, and a lot of the people down there still speak a broken language called Mobilian. Some of the older folks, I shouldn't say, not a lot of people, but and it was a trade language used up and down the Mississippi River, and it started down in the Alabamas, and it came up with the French traders up from New Orleans, and then they hooked up with the Creole and the folks up in Canada, and this was a huge highway, a trade route.
Wow. Okay. Now, I think the before and after is pretty. I held up the picture already for the camera, but this is you.
That's me.
You committed. You shaved your head.
Well, I actually started doing that probably back in 1990, maybe 91, 92, and it used to have it was a little different style back then until we found out exactly how the Kaskaskia were wearing their hair. It was cut into a scalp lock, and there's a adornment in the back of the head there, and that's called a roach.
Yeah, let's pull that over here. I thought this was maybe horsehair, but you were explaining that it's from a porcupine?
The center hair here is guard hair from a porcupine, and the outer hair is white-tailed deer tail dyed.
I see.
And it was made one of the superior beings of the native nations was the woodpecker. It was considered a deity, more or less, integrity, bravery, and that stuff. And so a lot of the tribes emulated the woodpeckers.
I see.
And that was the crest on the back of an ivory bill.
Oh,
or a
okay.
pileated woodpecker. So.
Well, explain how that would attach and what it looks like. I know you have some other the paraphernalia
okay,
there.
Yes. Okay. The hair was pulled into a small ponytail.
Okay.
Thin. The hair was pulled through the center of the roach.
I see it. Yeah.
And then these pieces were called a roach spreader. And so what they did is they put a piece in the center here.
Okay.
And this was just decoration on the back of the head. And then they put a silver piece.
I see. Oh, look at that.
And then the hair was pulled through, and then it was pinned like this. Just like modern day ponytail devices are.
Right. Oh, that's fascinating. And then this would hang down the back.
Yeah, it's just decorated. It's pure decoration.
That's really lovely, actually. Now, I want to show some of the things that you've made that you've used in living history. We have just a few pieces here. But first of all, this horn. This is really amazing. This would be a powder horn,
It
right?
is a powder horn, and that's made from a buffalo's horn. And a lot of the natives, when they did get, powder from the white traders, they had to have a way to carry it. Well, what better way than to use a buffalo? And a lot of people don't know. On this side of the Mississippi River, back in the 1600s, and even up into the 1700s, there were just about as many buffalo on this side of the river as there was over on the western side. Mm-hmm. So, and they used every part of the buffalo, really.
Right, they did, really, didn't they?
Yes.
Even down to the ligaments and what they call the sinews.
The sinews, and that's what they used to sew many pieces together. Their clothing,
Yeah, I know we can't pick it up, it's too big, but if we could zoom in on this beautiful robe that you actually hand painted. What kind of hide is this?
This is actually a mule deer's hide. It's a little bit larger than a whitetail's. It's what they call brain tan and smoked. And the brain tan softens it. The smoking actually preserves it, so it's pliable. This robe is 20 years old, I think, somewhere close to that.
Okay. And then you've actually down to now. This wouldn't be something they ate with. Would this?
No, that'd be like a stirring
something they
spoon.
cooked with. But you even made down to your utensils.
I've made them out of iron and wood, and I have a little mark on there and everything that I know that I did it.
Oh yeah, there's your mark. Very cool. And then you even have one of the things that I love when I was talking about you earlier. You said that the people who you've met through this experience of living history have really become like family to you.
They are. If something's wrong with them, if there's something wrong with their kids, you immediately get a call from somebody. Mm-hmm. Just the other night, I was talking to some friends. My daughter's mother's just ill right now, and people wanted to know what's going on, you know. So it's a big family, and we have family all over the United States and even overseas. So
that's amazing.
It is, and they want to know, what can we do to help?
Sure. So. That's great. And even some of your friends have gotten involved with making things. I know that you have a friend who weaves, and you're...
that is my, that was a birthday present to me.
Oh,
and
cool.
as he was handing it to me, he was laughing his head off. This is a hand spun with a drop spindle. This is buffalo hair.
Oh, wow.
And the reason he was laughing is because the hump hair and the head hair is like steel wool, and you can actually feel that through a shirt.
Oh,
and
so when you're
bare
wearing
skinning it, it's like somebody rubbing steel wool all over you.
Itchy.
It is, but it's in an oblique woven pattern, and you really can't see it until you hold it up to the light and look at how intricate it actually is.
Yeah. I wish you guys could see it all up close like this, but it's really cool.
And then, it's really itchy.
Yeah, and it's really itchy. I might be able to scrub a couple pots with that, actually.
I think you could.
Okay, now this is showing in process.
Right, and this is all hemp.
This is hemp.
And this has started, as you see how many strings there are, the warp and weft cords. This is all, it looks like a mop when you start, and it started at the bottom, and you take each individual string, and you wrap the other string around it and twist it. Well, this is just a different pattern, and there's some beautiful bags in the museums up in Chicago, the Peabody Museum out in New York, and other places that bags that still exist today, and that's how the people have picked up the process, and it's a very ancient process.
Yes, it is, and they incorporate, I wish we had time to show, we're running out of time, but the beading and different things that they incorporate
Sure.
with that.
Sure.
We are definitely going to be showing you have some adorable pictures we're going to show on screen here, especially of your daughters, but you were in a book. Which is awesome. You've been on the History Channel, you've been publishing a book. This is something that you're obviously passionate about, and you really do, it shows in your art and how much you really love it. And I really appreciate you bringing all these things down and encouraging us a little bit to take our history love to the next level.
Take it a little more serious. You can't see where you're going if you don't know where you've been.
There you go. Very good. Well, Gary, thank you so much for joining us in the studio
thank
today.
you.
We really appreciate
Thanks.
it. I hope you've enjoyed the show today. If you know someone who has an interesting hobby, craft, or collectible and we should talk to them, then please contact us at the information on your screen. We'd love to hear from you. See you next time.